Good evening, everybody. This is Jordan McCrae. This is for MDS 300 Final Reflections presentation. I name my presentation Reflections. This is at Boise State University. So tonight we're going to cover a little bit of my life, my background, what it was like the first time I went to college, what I've done since my first attempt in college, and what I'm attempting to do now with returning to school, and then my future and what my plans are for that, and kind of my goals and my outline as far as coursework and what things will be done there, and what happens when it's all over and done with, what I'm going to do when I have that degree. This picture right here is of me and my grandpa Boof, who my son is named after now. So a little bit about my background. I was born in 1987. I'm a Pisces. I grew up in Boise, Idaho. I love being outside. I got my Eagle Scout in high school. I really love to teach and mentor people, which is kind of how and why I do some of the things I'm doing right now, because I figured that out and I really wanted to capitalize on that and produce an income of something that I love and enjoy doing. Married my beautiful wife Kayla, which you can see here with our two dogs. Maggie is on the left and Charlie's on the right. I married her back in 2012, had our first son, who's Boof. 2015, his real name's Buford, and then we just had a new addition, Bryson, in February of this year. So college round one, I started up at University of Idaho. So I graduated high school in 2005. I spent the summer up in Alaska mowing lawns. At that point, it was just a nice little transition away from home to get out on my own. And then I went up to University of Idaho and studied chemical engineering. Up there, I rushed the Phi Gamma Delta fraternity, also known as the Fijis. And I discovered that college was a little bit different than I thought it would be. I was told it would be pretty easy, and I think it was a little more difficult than I was expecting. And I think I also just needed a little bit more discipline and structure than it was given me at the time. So after my freshman year, I enlisted in the Idaho Army National Guard. That was back in 2006 during the summer. I then went back for a fall semester at U of I, and then took the spring semester off and went to basic training. When I got back, I became an M2 Bradley driver, which is what you see here. I really excelled at it. I did really good in the Army. I just had a passion for it, and it was really easy for me because there was always a clear set of instructions. So quickly I submitted what they call a packet to become a helicopter pilot, and we'll talk about that right here. So the first packet I submitted, I got accepted at the board in March of 2007. As soon as November, about 6 months later, rolled around in 2007, I went to Fort Rucker, Alabama all by myself. I was 21 years old. And just transitioned there to become the helicopter pilot that I always wanted to be. So I spent 2 years there. I started on the TH-67 helicopter, which is what's pictured here. It's a Bell 206 in the civilian world, or it's really what you think of when in the movies there's a news chopper. That's what we started to fly. And then I graduated and learned how to fly a military helicopter, the AH-64 Delta Apache Longbow. And another thing I did there was I bought my first house at 22 years old. So in the Army, I flew for 6 years. This is the Apache pictured here in the National Guard here in Idaho. I did really well in the pilot position as well. I was constantly in the top runnings for the gunnery competition we had every year, which is just a shooting competition that lasts for 2 weeks. We do some night shooting as well. I unfortunately never deployed. I always really wanted to until I got married, and now I have no desire to. And I really made some lifelong friends, and that also helped me for networking in when I got into real estate. So and then I learned that a secure job wasn't for me. So I spent about a year. We were supposed to deploy in 2014. So I spent about 2013, most of that year, with a really good full-time paying job, ramping up for the deployment that we were supposed to go on, and I just found out that that was not something I was into. I really like not knowing what I'm going to do the next day and even how much I'm going to get paid. I tend to enjoy that lifestyle a little bit more, so I transitioned into real estate. So that's 2013. I got my license and then got out of the full-time position with the Guard and went back to the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year type job. I started my first brokerage in 2015 called Skyline Realty. Currently now, 2 years later, we have over 30 agents and we're expected to do about $50 million in home sales this year. And I really also picked up a love for contracts and law. I normally didn't consider myself a detailed oriented person, but I really love helping other agents with their problems. And when it comes down to, hey, was this supposed to happen today or tomorrow or the next day, and kind of diving into those details. So I also do a lot of real estate business coaching, which I'm kind of talking about already. I do some business consulting. One is a medical company here in Idaho that I've been helping out recently. I just help them with ideas on starting up and kind of the organizational process of getting all your ducks in a row to start making some money. This year, I also got into some commercial real estate investing, which I like because it's a little bit less stressful than residential real estate, where uh, you struggle with if the tenants are going to be good or not. Commercial is a lot more hands off and a lot less worrisome. I also owned a lawn company that I bought into in 2013 and sold in 2015. It was a very specialized company. We just did bank-owned homes. They wanted people to maintain the grass even though nobody was living there. So I did that and made some money there. And then last year, my wife and I bought Timeless Photo and Portraits, which is downtown Boise. So we've been at that for about a year. I don't really work there at all, and so that's a great experience right now for me to kind of learn how to run a business without being there every day. So during all that, I'm kind of at a transitional point. The brokerage is making some good money, and I'm getting some more free time because we're not having to focus on the same things that we did during startup. So I thought this would be a good time. So I've been wrestling with wanting to go back to school. I found out about a 3-and-3 program from University of Idaho, which is with Boise State. And so that allows me to count my first year of law school as my fourth year of my undergraduate. So I was really excited about that, so I contacted the MDS program, and they told me that I basically only had to take this MDS 300 class and an art elective sometime between now and going to law school. So I'm going to spend the fall semester really focusing on my LSAT, which is the common entrance exam for law schools. My GPA is not the best, and so the higher the LSAT score I can get, the more that they won't worry about my GPA. And I'm excited about this program because it was the easiest and smoothest transition to get to law school, with only having to take 2 classes. So this is my IDP, my individual degree plan. I want to focus on learning outcome number 3, which just says in October 27, I'm going to take the practice LSAT, and then in December 2017, I'm going to take the real LSAT, and that's what I'll be submitting to University of Idaho to get into the law program. So I'm hoping to improve on some logic games and reasoning. Those are the 2 bottom groups of which I struggled the most on the stuff that I've studied so far. And so when I take that practice exam, I want to see where I'm at there in October, and then I'll spend 2 solid months really improving on that score. Everything else is kind of side goals at the moment because that's going to be the most important thing to stick to my plan. That's the next step. And then on the right are just some of the law classes that I have to take at U of I Law. And I'm really looking forward to most of them, but especially contracts again, just because I can use that immediately in real estate. So once I finish that first year, I'll come back and do the capstone class, and then I will be handed my degree. Hopefully, that's how it's supposed to work. So, but I'll still have 2 more years of school left for law, so I won't quite be done the same way that most everyone else will feel accomplished. And so I'll have 2 more summers also, and so I hope to do a clerkship, one of those, which is like an internship, but you're helping out a judge behind the scenes and doing paperwork and help writing opinions and things like that. I also want to use that as an opportunity to travel. My wife's really allowed me to put my career first the last couple of years, and so hopefully we can kind of maybe go somewhere like Orlando. I've been looking into a clerkship there, so we can spend the summer at Disney World while I work a little bit. And then also at law school, I'm gonna kind of focus on real estate law, patent law, and estate planning. Real estate law is an obvious one. Patent law, because I have an engineering background and it's a specialized portion of law. And then estate planning, I want to look into that just because it's very 9 to 5 type of job, and I'm really hoping to kind of change my hours a little bit. I've been working a lot of late nights and a lot of weekends with real estate, so I want to be able to spend more time with my family. And then this is a picture of my favorite movie that kind of, I don't know, I hope I can be that clever of an attorney one day. If you haven't seen My Cousin Vinny, you should go out and rent it sometime. So after school, this is going to be more after the law degree is complete. Here's some of my ideas of what I want to do with that. I can become a full-time attorney. I can become a lobbyist, which is somebody that helps write state legislature and somebody that's going to help influence maybe some of those people making the votes on which way they should go. I can also just use this to as a door in and say, hey, I'm not just a real estate agent, I'm also an attorney. I've been thinking about maybe running for a public office position, or just maybe I'll learn the discipline that I need to finish a book or write a book. There's also always business is always interesting to me, and I can use that to more accurately look into a business and then write a better contract. But I'm always open to anything, and so I don't try to plan too much like that. So final thoughts, we talked about where I came from, kind of my background, how I ended up into the MDS program, what I hope to do with it. And I wanted to just say life is an adventure and we should have a plan, but be open to change. I've tried to do that as much as possible. I'm constantly planning and I'm constantly rewriting my plan. I've learned a lot from my previous experiences, but I also always look forward to the new challenges ahead. It's what keeps me motivated, keeps me getting up in the morning. And that adds into my lifelong goal of being a lifelong learner. Law school is going to be part of that. I don't know exactly what I want to do with it. I don't necessarily need to make more money, but I just want to have that education. It sounds like a fun thing to do. So this is a quote on the right-hand side that I leave or I put on the back of my Photoshop business cards. It says, life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important, capture the good times, develop from the negatives, and when things don't go as planned, just take another shot. I really just think it's important that we try but never take ourselves too seriously and give ourselves a break, in life. And so anyway, I hope that inspires you. No, you guys can't ask any questions because this is a recorded presentation, but either way, it should be there just in case I give this in the real life somewhere. And I really appreciate you guys paying attention, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.